Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Nice to see you, Attorney General.
Nice to see you, Representative.
So just reading through this bill, I had a question, which is, it doesn't really specify what products you would have power to, stop the price gouging. And I was wondering, are there any parameters in your mind on what products, or is it really open to any kind of product?
Any product. That's the way the law works now.
Okay. I'm sure you've considered this also, but pricing is nothing more than a market signal, and it's a really valid market signal, and government can't create signals for all the products that are out there. And I think especially, as this bill says, during a disaster and an emergency, the pricing signal is so valuable because when like water bottles go from $1 to $5 or $10, that serves to help exactly who you're saying you're trying to help, which are the victims of people who are in need during a disaster. And if water goes to $5 or $10, it means that people will not take more than they need. And it preserves these products in the emergencies. And I was wondering, how are you as the Attorney General, and you just said that your office is limited in what it can do. I understand people calling you during an emergency and wanting you to do something because nobody likes to pay higher prices. But there's such a valid function in the pricing signal in emergencies and disasters. How will you be able to do what the market does, which is preserve these scarce products during a disaster and emergency?
So I don't think that pricing is only a market signal. I think most people would agree, unfortunately, that there are bad actors out there. And though pricing does reflect supply and demand and market forces, there are extraordinary moments when people will seek to take advantage of others. I'm sorry to report to this committee that happens all the time. And we deal not just with price gouging, but with scammers. And on a large scale, as you may know, Representative, I'm leading the national generic drug price fixing case. The generic drug manufacturers clearly, brazenly fixed the prices on 90% of our medicine because they wanted to charge us more. That's a form of price gouging. And so during an emergency, that's exactly the moment when we don't want to let somebody charge so much more for water or gasoline or eggs or heat when people are literally dying, suffering, sick, unable to do basic things to care for themselves. If, for example, there's a run on banks and people don't have access to cash, in a really dire situation, that's when you need your Attorney General to step in and say, this is not okay. You cannot take advantage of your customers and your neighbors, and you cannot make them pay more and profiteer off of them because they will pay it. And I'm sorry to say that happens, but it does.
I certainly agree that, there are those among us who indulge in doing evil things. And I think your work is important to go after, people who take advantage of the elderly, for example. But truly, the way this bill is written, I do feel that as well-intentioned as it is, there is a very serious unintended consequence, which is that there's a reason why prices go up in an emergency. And I don't think your office is going to be able to tell who are the greedy bastards versus who really are trying to preserve for their own customers. Because what can happen, whether it's bottles or toilet paper or bread, is you can't imagine that a local grocery store owner would not want, the first guy in the door to be like, great, bread is still $1.50. I'm taking like 50 loaves. And I know you can limit the amount that people can take, but truly the price signal also tells other makers that there is a huge demand particularly for toilet paper or, whatever. But it's very hard for government actors to truly understand what is happening and that organic feel of what people are in need of, especially during disasters and emergencies. And I just would urge you to, understand that there is a valid role for the market pricing mechanism to be allowed to work. And then you have your own role to truly go after bad actors. But that's all I wanted to say on this bill. Thank you, Attorney General.
If I may, Representative, I guess I would just say, if I can't determine who the greedy bastards are and who we should go after, then who will do it?
I'm saying I think you have a role to do that, but we also should recognize that there's a very valid role for a market pricing mechanism to work, especially during disasters, because they do have the natural, pressure to preserve those things that are in scarcity, and also to signal to makers to make more of the thing that the prices are going up on. But anyways, thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Chair. Great to see you, Attorney.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you.